I've come up with a way to totally eradicate this whole idea of rejection in sales. If it's over at hello, how the heck are you going to succeed in selling? You've got to rise above that and change your mindset.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Stump the Guru. Hope you're all doing well. Good to see everyone. We've had some great shows so far, and it's been a good. This is a chance to come forward and ask your toughest sales questions. My name is Ari Galper. If you don't know me, I've focused on trust-based selling for the last 20 years. I've specialized in helping entrepreneurs, business owners, consultants, advisors to build trust in their sales process to the extent where you can onboard somebody in one conversation. I'm working on a new book coming out called The One Call Sales soon. My current book, Unlock the Sales Game, is a bestseller. So I try to do these calls as often as possible to have people come on in, ask me a live question, and to help you with your thorniest, most complex sales challenge, whether you're chasing somebody or stuck with a client or you're making outbound calls. So this is your opportunity to come forward. Just click the link. It's unlockthegame.com, stumptheguru.com. Just like it sounds, stumptheguru.com, and it'll take you right into the queue here, and we can select you for the show. There have been a few people who've submitted questions in advance, so we'll take those questions in a minute and put them on the screen, depending on how many folks come in for the live Q&A now. So again, welcome to Stump the Guru. This is our show we do every other week around the world on our socials, where you can jump in and submit your question or just watch as we go along the way here with other folks. If you have a question, this is your chance to pick my brain. I do charge fees for this one-on-one for my private clients, but I do this for fun and to help people at the public level for those who want to jump in and ask a question. So as we wait for folks to stream in, what we'll do is we'll pull a couple questions that came forward earlier in the past couple weeks of folks who submitted the questions that couldn't make it today. And we'll start with that and go from there. So let's see. The first question that came up on one of our shows was this one here. I'll quote it, Ari, how do I respond to people saying our price is too high? So that's a very common objection, as you probably know, and I'd be curious to know how many of you received that objection. We've been taught by the old gurus, when we get an objection, we're supposed to overcome the objection. We're supposed to respond and show them we have a better answer or try and convince them otherwise. And the challenge with that, when you try to overcome an objection, is you can break trust that way. And your goal is to build trust no matter what comes at you in terms of your conversation. So your job is to diffuse the objection, re-engage again to build that trust and not risk the relationship over the sale. So normally when someone gets a question like that, your fee is too high or you're too expensive, normally our reaction is to defend ourselves with, we're worth it, or we can go for the lower price. We try either fight or flight. That's our normal response. But with our mindset and our perspective on trust-based selling, when we feel resistance coming our way, we don't try to overcome it. We instead diffuse it. So with this example, if someone says to you, your fee is too high, here's what you might say back. You might say, you're absolutely right. That's the first thing you say to diffuse the moment. It's a bit shocking at first, I know. Then you pause and say, you're absolutely right. It can be, here it is, the operative word, perceived as high when you haven't had a chance to experience what it's like as a result of what we do, or experience our software, or experience the transformation that we teach. Definitely on the outset, it does feel like that. Would you be open to relooking at your situation, relooking at your challenges to see how we can build a business case for this to make it worth your while? Would you be open to that? So what you just saw there was diffusing and re-engaging, not try to overcome it. That's what we teach here at Unlock the Game, is how to be able to remove resistance, not defend yourself, not to negotiate cheaper, but to unlock the game and re-engage again to build that relationship. So that's one of the one that came through. By the way, if you just came on the show, welcome. I see a couple likes coming up here on the answers so far. So feel free to go ahead and jump in the queue, just go to stumptheguru.com. That will forward you right into the queue here, and I can choose you to come forward to ask me a live question. This is your chance to pick my brain, bring forward any challenge you have right now in your business, or drop a note in the chat box here. Send me a question there as well, and I'll try and grab that if I can. That was one of the questions that came up the last couple of weeks. The other question that came through from our queue from the last show was, see if you can put that on the screen, the second question. Here it is. It was, we already have another vendor. Do you get that often when someone says we're using somebody else, or we have another vendor as an objection? And normally we have tried to defend ourselves, say, well, we're better, or why do you like them, or why don't you like them? And now we're back into the whole mode again of trying to push the resistance forward. So remember, our model is diffuse or re-engage. And that requires what we call trust-based languaging that we develop that helps people do that in a way that feels comfortable and authentic. So if someone says to you, we're already using someone else, rather than defending yourself, just say this. Just say, that's not a problem. That's the first phrase you say, because your goal is to first diffuse the resistance. You can use that phrase, by the way, on any objection you get from people. Anybody throws you anything that throws you off centered, you can always say, that's not a problem. Because that kind of pulls them back a bit, allows a bit of space to be created. Then you say, I wasn't looking to replace what you're currently using. I just wanted to see if you'd be open to a different perspective you may not have access to now. So what that does is it creates space. It takes it off the goal of replacing someone else, because your goal is not to replace their current vendor. Your goal is to first see if it's a fit with you and them or not. So it's premature to even talk about that. So rather than trying to overcome the objection, I'm diffusing it and saying, I wasn't looking to replace who you're currently using, which you're not, because you have no idea if you're a fit with them yet. You just want to see if they'd be open to a different perspective they may not have access to now. So that's our model for how we handle resistance. We diffuse, we re-engage using our trust-based languaging. So use that, try that, and see what happens. I think you'd be surprised by the engagement level, but you feel more comfortable with yourself in the conversation, not having to sell, not having to pitch, not having to overcome the resistance, but instead blend with the resistance. And where we get the blending from comes from our experience using Aikido, which is a martial art from Japan. If you know what Aikido is about, it's where if an attacker comes at you, and rather than trying to punch or resist the attack, you diffuse, you take their energy and diffuse the resistance and re-engage again so no one gets hurt at the end. Same concept here. When you feel resistance coming your way, rather than trying to overcome it, you diffuse it. All right, so those are two examples of questions that came through so far from the previous shows. If you want to jump on right now and ask me a quick question, just go to stumptheguru.com. That'll patch you right in, and I can pull you in. We can ask you a question that you might have around your challenges. And I think we had one more that we might pull forward, and then we'll see if others want to come forward. If not, we'll leave you with those lessons from this show from this time around, from those examples. So the other question that we got recently from one of our shows was this one. How do I shift my mindset away from this sale to trust instead? How do I shift my thinking, Ari, to move away from the objective of making the sale to focus on trust? Now, the way you do that is you focus on their issues, your prospect's problems. You say to yourself, okay, my goal right now is not to move them forward. My goal is not to think about the sale. My goal is to walk into their world without assumptions and focus in on their problem. And what you do around that is when they tell you what their challenge is, you unpack it with them. And you say things like, can you tell me a little bit more about that? That allows them to open up around their problem. And it also allows you to engage them around their issue where they have the sense that you care about them, which hopefully you do. And they say to themselves, he or she really gets me. And that's what's called resonance. Resonance is when your ideal prospects connect with you and you connect with them at a level of trust without you prematurely selling your offering. That's how you begin to make that shift over to what we call our unlock the game mindset, where you're centered, you're focused, and that chemistry happens and they can't help but to work with you. So hopefully those three lessons give you some great insights today, and you can use them, try them, come back to the show next time, which you'll see advertised soon, and we'll see you back again on the channel. Talk to you soon. Have a great day.